everyone. I hope you're having a good summer. I know we've been very busy on the property, keeping up with the lawn maintenance and the gardening and harvesting. Now, harvesting is a big thing. We have been giving the neighbors some of our vegetables, but we still have plenty of vegetables that we need to preserve and cook up or to put into the freezer. And I've been doing that, and it's really keeping us very, very busy, making sure that we don't waste any of the food that we have grown. And then also we have leftovers in the refrigerator and freezer from food that we prepared previously, store-bought food. So we're making sure that we use up what we have first before we create new meals. But in the meanwhile, it's very vital that we use the fresh ingredients from the garden. If we're not going to preserve them, we need to use them. And so we've been eating a lot of cucumbers and tomatoes, and we have a really good harvest this year. So I'm going to show you some of the meals that we've been cooking throughout the week. And here's some of the fresh produce from the garden that we'll be using in this video. I do have some red onions also we'll be using, and garlic that was from the garden. Just a combination of vegetables that we're going to combine with sometimes even leftovers that we need to use up. Foods from the freezer, whatever meats we can put with the vegetables, just to make up some really good meals and avoid food waste. I need to thaw this shrimp out because it's frozen. Put it in a colander in a large bowl and run cold water until it fills up. And then wait about 10 minutes and take it out. See, this is a pan with a colander. And take it out of the water after about 10 minutes. And it should be soft and ready to stir fry. So we're just going to cut some squash here, squash and zucchini together for a shrimp stir fry. And this summer squash is tender enough where I don't have to peel it. And see if there's not that many seeds formed because it's still pretty young. And this little tiny zucchini, I like the young zucchinis for stir fries. The medium size for roasting, and the real large ones I shred for zucchini bread and casseroles. The shrimp is thawed. Let's cook. All right, over here I got my wok with oil in it, and I'm going to turn it on in a moment. But first I have some garlic I'm going to smash and chop very finely. Add the garlic, let it cook just 30 seconds. We don't want it to get bitter. Then add the zucchini and squash. We'll cook this for 3 to 4 minutes, and then we're going to add the shrimp. I'm going to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. I like to season a little bit ahead of time, especially vegetables. Oh yeah. Now we'll add the shrimp. And we'll just cook this for about 3 to 4 minutes. We don't want the shrimp to be overcooked. And I believe it will turn pink. It will start turning pink, and then we'll know it's done. I'm not adding any onion because we've got garlic, and we're going to use soy and apple cider, soy sauce and apple cider. Also, we're going to use some crushed red pepper. There's some crushed red pepper. Try to do it sparingly. We like it a lot. I'm just turning the shrimp over with the fork, and it's already cooked a couple minutes. And it's almost done. The shrimp does not take long at all. In fact, you can eat it cold. You can eat it raw, but we don't want to do that. See it turn pink, so it's basically done. Okay, we're going to add a little soy sauce and apple cider vinegar. If you have red wine vinegar or rice vinegar, you can use that, of course. And this looks really good. You can put this over a bed of rice or eat it by itself. Here we have some cream of celery soup that I made. I used up some old celery it was going bad and needed used up right away. It was quite a bit. So I made quite a bit of soup here. And we're going to stretch this soup out to make 2 casseroles. And here are some of the products we're using. Noodles for the tuna fish casserole, along with some frozen peas. We haven't even opened this package, and I believe it was a couple months ago when I bought these frozen peas. And we got some onions and scallions from the garden, and these potatoes came from the garden also. And this cheese is getting old. We're going to use this cheese for both casseroles. We're going to stretch everything out. If we have to put some milk to make the soup go further, we will. And I went ahead and shredded the cheese for both casseroles. One secret to saving money, calories, and fat in your diet is to go light on the cheese. We have our potatoes peeled. Now we're going to wash them and chop them up. Potato peels will go into the garden for compost, so we're not wasting anything this way. Salted water is fully boiling, so we're going to cook up all of these noodles. It's always good to cook up extra noodles that you'll have on hand in the refrigerator for another meal coming up. We have our potatoes chopped and rinsed, and the noodles fully cooked. And our vegetables are chopped up finely and ready to put into the casseroles. And you can use frozen hash browns for this also. The cubed potatoes, you can use those. I'm going to mix all this together. This is half of the cream soup, chopped onion, and parsley. I did spray the baking dish with nonstick cooking spray. So we're just going to mix all this together here very well. Then we'll put some cheese over the casserole here. Throw the peas in here. Not all of the peas from the package, but quite a bit. Onion and dill. And mix that all up together here, along with cooked noodles. And we're going to add tuna fish. Going to add some cheese to this. The tuna fish casserole will only take about 30 minutes at 350. Potato casserole is going to take longer because potatoes are not cooked. So it will take about 45 to 50 minutes. Sliced tomatoes and cucumbers make a really good side dish for the tuna fish casserole. And the tuna fish casserole is done. It looks really good. I'm going to plate it for my husband. And it just has a summer feel because we have a side dish that is tomatoes and cucumbers. Potato casserole is done and looking really good. Here's the hubby's plate with homemade meatloaf and green beans from the can. Now we are making chicken salad with egg noodles. And this, you can serve this cold or lukewarm. This is a good summer dish and it's easy to make. I've gathered all the ingredients to make the sauce. You just do the measurements correctly according to the recipe, and I will link the recipe in the description of this video. Now I'm using rotisserie chicken from Aldi. The chicken's already done. I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken there. Right here we have soy sauce and with a little bit of lime juice, and we have apple cider vinegar with olive oil, and then I have some sugar. Throw the sugar in there and whisk the sauce. Very easy sauce to make. You can use ramen noodles for this also, or any other kind of noodles you like. Going to mix that all together. This is only half a recipe too, but maybe I had a little extra noodles. That could be. It wasn't a full box. It was maybe a little over half a box. Got some chopped and peeled garlic. Just going to mince it very well. This is really good. Here I gathered all the ingredients together to make sweet potato rolls. I've got sweet potato left over that I had in the freezer that was pureed. I have another container in the refrigerator. This is from last year's harvest. Sweet potatoes last a long time. That's a really good thing to grow in the garden. So we're going to make sweet potato rolls. I've never made these before. Got some melted butter over here. I am going to use honey. but no sugar. So this is going to be fairly healthy. So we'll just get everything mixed up here really well. Melted butter, honey, sweet potatoes, and milk. We'll mix these together and see what kind of dough we get. I think I should have used a bigger bowl. This is making a fantastic dough. I just love it. Sweet potatoes, they're wonderful for tortillas too. And sweet potato bread. We're going to roll this out to little balls. I always like to use parchment paper on the board. It's just for easy cleanup. I get it real cheap at Walmart, so that's fine. It doesn't say to knead it, so they said not to overmix, so I got to remember that. Just to pat it into a circle like this and divide into eight sections. I just hope these are more like rolls and not biscuits, but biscuits are good too. Yeah. It's just hard to make good biscuits without the yeast, I know. But I just can't handle it for health reasons. So I just make 8 balls. Here's the easy cleanup. Very little flour got on the board. Okay, they're ready for the oven. Bake in a preheated oven at 400 Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. These rolls, they turned out pretty good. I melted some butter over them. Oh, this is great. I can't wait to try one. Let's give this a taste test. I just got half of one. These are really good. Now I'm going to put these back in the oven for a couple of minutes. The oven's still on. I like them doughy in the middle, but they're a little doughy in the middle. I think 17 minutes will be better for these rolls. And they're like rolls. They're not biscuits, which really surprised me because I've made rolls without yeast before. They were more like biscuits, but these have sweet potatoes in them. So the texture really is really awesome. Yeah. So give these a try. They're really good. With the rest of the sweet potato puree, there was a half a cup left. I'm making sweet potato cookies. Just adding the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. And I will link the recipe in the description of this video. Just want to get this mixed up very well till it forms a good dough. The dough has been chilled overnight and it's ready. And I don't know how far these are going to spread. I used baking powder. By mistake, I was supposed to use baking soda, so we'll see if there's a difference. But these look good, and the dough is very tasty because I tried it. And these do not contain any eggs. But let's go ahead and put these in the oven. The sweet potato cookies are done. I'm getting ready to try one. I'll let you know how it tastes. I just came outside because my husband wants to get into the kitchen. He doesn't want me filming. But these are good. Corn's cooking on the grill. Pretty soon we'll have those little chicken kebabs on here too that came from Aldi. Honey, your corn on the cob looks delicious.
Hoorah! Thank you.
These look good. I'm going to eat these with an ear of corn, and I'll let you know how these taste. You know the corn's going to be good. Came from my garden.
Hell yeah.
We've got 2 more in the freezer, so I hope these are good because then I'll look forward to eating those, to grilling up the other 2. The stick is kind of small. I thought it would be a larger stick, but oh well. Ah, get back! Woo! Get out of here. A bee came from the zinnias and trying to get onto the chicken. It was a dramatic scene with the bee, but I should have known better than to plant zinnias that close to the patio. The marinade on these chicken kebabs is delicious. And here we've got some little carrots from the garden. We're just going to roast these in the oven. Just roast them like you do any other vegetables. They just take a little longer because they're very hard. These were washed thoroughly, by the way. They're just rustic looking. I'm not going to prepare very many. I'm going to do some squash in the oven too because I just want to prep some vegetables ahead of time for some meals coming up. And we are going to roast potatoes along with the carrots. Then I got some onion I'm going to put in halfway through. I'll just put some olive oil. And I just do a light seasoning of salt and pepper. And then we'll salt and pepper according to taste after they come out of the oven. Thanks for watching today. I hope I inspired you to cook up some healthy and delicious, budget-friendly meals using what you have in your cupboards, refrigerator, and garden. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you on the next one.